Hi, Jenny. Hi, everyone. So, Jenny, just give me 1 minute. I'll be making sure that we are live.
Yes,
Can you tell us that you can see us live? I'm just making sure that we are
hi
actually
Amir.
live.
Yeah, hi
Okay.
everyone.
Hello, and thank you so much for making it so early in the morning for you.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
So, you're taking a coffee?
I have some tea.
You're a tea person.
Yes.
So, I'm waiting for some comments. Can you tell us that we are live so that we can start the discussion? If you guys can see us live, that will be great.
Yeah. So since it's early here, I'll definitely promote the recordings to folks here so they can watch later today.
Yeah, I'm sure. Okay, so thank you so much, Govindraj and Gunjan. Thank you so much. Yes, we are live. Thank you so much, Jenny. I know it's quite early in the morning for you. It's 7:30 a.m. Jenny is joining us from East Coast and 7:30, right, Jenny?
Yeah, that's right. New York, 7:30.
Okay. Welcome to Growth Mindset Conversation. And let me introduce our amazing guest to all of you. Jenny Fernandez is CMO, VP of Marketing, Executive Coach, and Professor at Columbia Business School, Netology Russian Business School, and New York University. With over 20 years of experience managing, launching, growing brands, Jenny brings incredible expertise in the field of marketing, strategic growth, and leadership transformation, and she has managed multi-million dollar businesses in Mondelez International, Kraft Foods, Accenture, and Locker USA. She is also an executive coach, a board advisor at the American Marketing Association. She's an HBR contributor and a speaker. And her book on leadership habits will be published in 2022. Yay, Jenny, go for it. Congratulations for that.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here.
Welcome, and it's great to have you as a guest in today's episode number 21 of Growth Mindset Conversation. And let me acknowledge all of you, whosoever is joining us live to discuss this topic. And if you have any questions on the topic while we are discussing, do let us know. So we'll definitely get your question to Jenny and we'll definitely answer your question. Okay, Jenny, to start the conversation, as you know, that one of my favorite questions and as the show is called Growth Mindset Conversation, what is growth mindset for Jenny Fernandez?
Yeah, no, so thank you so much. I love the topic and I love basically the whole idea of a growth mindset. And what it really means to me is this idea that we are learning beings, we're
Mm-hmm.
lifelong learners. We are, people who are very driven, who love results. But at the end of the day, the world keeps changing and evolving, and understanding that we have the capability and the capacity to evolve along with it, to challenge ourselves, to learn, and to really, frankly, transform ourselves to become the better self at the moment in time where we are. It's really that mindset that helps us be resilient and driven. And when we face failures, just see it as just not now. I don't have it yet now, but I have the ability, the capacity, and frankly, the resources, the network to help me get there.
Wow, lot of things, Jenny. So I like the last bit also very much. Have a network to get there, and we are learning beings evolve over time. And I think we had a small moment of that mindset before we started the show, right? We had
Yes.
some technical issues when before we went live, so it's like we are evolving every minute. Whatever planning we do, having a growth mindset always helps because at that point of time it was like a freezing moment, right? What's happening? We are so yeah, thank you so much for bringing that. And you also said transforming yourself and having the right network. Could you explain more? What does it mean?
Yeah, of course, definitely. So Mamir, I feel again, it all starts with you. So having this increased level of self-awareness, like who am
Mm-hmm.
I today in the moment in time? And it goes back to understanding, what are my strengths? What am I good at?
Mm-hmm.
Which in a way translates, what am I known for? So, you
Mm-hmm.
always have the ability to ask your boss, your network, your friends, what are the top three attributes or characteristics that come up for you when they think about you? And it helps confirm, again, that idea of getting feedback. It helps
Mm-hmm.
confirm, so what am I known for today? And then you can step back and think and see it in kind of the wider picture and realize, are these the skills and the attributes that I need today to be successful? Is there something new that I need to learn? Whether it's a new technology, whether it's stepping up and shifting from being a great executor to be more strategic, if you're looking to get promoted, like what are the things that you need to, the new identities that you need to achieve in order to get your new goals?
Yeah, yeah. Awesome. And such a powerful question. Whatever skills I am having right now, are they good today for my growth?
Yes.
Right? That's a very powerful question you are asking. And feel free to ask your questions. Viewers will make sure that your questions are answered. Jenny, because we are talking about how to leverage your growth mindset to grow as a leader. So when you're talking about being strategic, having that network, having an
Yes.
transforming ourselves attitude, how to leverage these components, or in other words, growth mindset, to be more strategic towards our growth as a leader.
Yeah, no, that's a really great question because it's something that helps you think and puts you in control. So
Yeah.
again, stepping back, the idea of growth mindset is about rewarding the learning, the skills and the effort that you put into evolving, and knowing that you have to face some challenges. You may not be ready today, but how do you learn to step up into this new role or kind of identity? And when it comes to this idea of being more strategic, this is why I think we need to start seeing ourselves almost the same way as we manage our external business and our jobs. Whether you're a consultant, an engineer, whatever you manage, you're always very strategic. You plan, you have goals, you
Mm-hmm.
execute against those goals, and then you measure. And if things
Mm-hmm.
change, you optimize. So the same way, have a goal for yourself, understand what are the strategies that you're putting in place. So stepping back and thinking, I love this phrase, kind of stop and think. Schedule time in your calendar, once a month, and say, what am I doing for my career, for my life to move forward? Do I have the
Mm-hmm.
right plan in place? Do I have the
Mm-hmm.
right goals in place? And you can do
Mm-hmm.
that for your personal career and growth, and you can do
Mm-hmm.
that strategically for your job. Because one of the things that we are always rewarded for is for results. But that is
Mm-hmm.
great early on in your career. As you move up to become a manager, to be a leader, you really have to be creating the time and the space to be strategic. And again, it's the idea of thinking, connecting the dots, looking at trends, doing a lot of reading, being external, and setting time to meet with interesting people, both at work and outside, so that you are being always challenged and you're always, again, thinking about new ideas.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. I loved what you said. And the most important thing which kind of, resonated with me was I'm taking little notes when you're talking.
Yeah.
Actually, that's why I'm I'm looking down. So you said, rewarding learning and rewarding efforts.
Yes.
Results are always rewarded, right? If I'm reporting to you and I'm creating good results, you will reward. But many times our efforts are not rewarded. How do you have growth mindset to grow when your efforts are not recognized and rewarded? So, what should we think at that point of time?
No, that's a really great question, and I think again, if this is like for work and you're basically asking my effort from my boss, my network is not rewarding me for it, then you have to stop and think and say, do I have the right strategies? First of all,
Mm,
revisit your goal. If your goal is still valid, then you have
mm,
to ask yourself, am I putting the right strategies in place to get there? Because many
mm,
times, there's a lot of feelings with failure or with not being rewarded. And you don't want to be in a mindset of blaming, because
mm.
blaming and becoming a so-called victim gives away your power. And
Yeah.
you want to make sure that you're the one in the driver's seat of your career and your business, and you have to step back and say, okay, do I have the right process correctly here? Do I have the right strategy here? What am I doing that, or what can I do differently that will help me get the results that I want? And I think,
Yeah.
frankly, then you can even then reach out to your boss or your network and share those goals, share the change in strategy, and ask for feedback. Because one of the
Yeah.
major, I think, elements in progressing and being recognized is making sure that other people see themselves in your success. They need to be
Yes.
invested in your success so that they're
Yes.
also helping you get there.
Yeah. Yeah. Very important point. And other people, other stakeholders, there should be other stakeholders in your success. Sometimes, we get stuck that it's my success. I have to make it. I mean, everybody else is kind of a competitor, not a
Yes.
contributor. So I guess, I love the fact you said, other people can also be contributors, right? You need to
Yes.
share your goals. You need to be agile on your goals. And also, you brought a very sweet perspective, very valuable perspective that manage your development journey as another project. Look
Yes.
at the goal. If that goal is still valid, look at the strategy. If that strategy is still valid, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
very much so. And Mamir, you reminded me actually, I co-authored an article on HBR, which I actually really
Yes.
recommend because it went viral. People really enjoyed it.
With
It was with
Louis
Luis
Velasquez.
Velasquez. Yes, it was this idea of like these are the 5 key relationships you need to
Mm-hmm.
build in your career. And as we
Mm-hmm.
have been talking about just now, that you need other stakeholders invested in your success.
Mm-hmm.
So, ask yourself, do I have a mentor? Do I have somebody who's
Mm.
at least sharing information so that I have all of the information available to, get to where I need to go? Do I have
Yeah.
a sponsor? The sponsor is a really key person to have in your career because he or she will open doors for new opportunities. So this is something that is really key because you want to have more than just your boss, behind doors speaking about your success and your achievements. You need to have more
Yeah.
people. The more
Yeah.
voices you have speaking on your behalf, the better. So
Yeah.
I recommend that if for your audience if they have time.
Yes. Yeah. I mean that's a great article. I've read that, and thank you so much for sharing that. And I'll take a second to welcome all the audience who are there, and special thanks to Dr. Marlena. Our friend Dr. Marlena is here. Thank you so much for joining the show. Yes, and Jenny, when you're talking about, having the right network, having the right strategy, having the right
Yes.
goal, is there any scientific approach to self development, or having all these things in place when we talk about growth mindset?
Yeah, no, thank you for that. That's a very interesting question, and as part of it, I'll share my own experience. So I think you both have to make sure that you're being authentic. You cannot be
Mm,
perceived or go at this with a kind of a mind to manipulate. It's not about manipulating or being kind of overthinking. It's really about being authentic. Establish relationships with people who are interesting, who you have commonalities with, but also challenge yourself because many times we love the kind of what is familiar to us. And one of the ways that we
yes.
can be strategic is really trying to get out of our lane. And this idea
Mm,
of, again, look at what are your interests, look at what are the adjacencies. So, for example, I have a career in marketing. So I always
mhm,
connect with people in the finance group, in the sales team, because those are the key functions that really help my business move forward. I'm in the profit business, so I need to make money. So my finance is my right hand person, in sales because they're the ones that open doors with customers, for example. So if you find commonalities in other functions within your groups, in your company, for example, then you have the ability to explore, to make connections and relationships. And that ultimately will open up new opportunities. And for example, for me, one of the things that I wanted to share when I was growing up in my career back in craft, I just kept in touch with with managers that I really enjoyed, that I liked, and one of them actually moved over to China to be the chief marketing officer of craft in Asia Pacific. And
mhm,
my gosh, I'm kind of dating myself at the time because it was before the peak of social media and all of that, so I didn't have WhatsApp to be connected. So it was these connections through email, through one of international phone calls. But I kept that connection because I enjoyed the relationship. I was being authentic. And ultimately, because I kept her abreast of my progress, of my successes, of my challenges, she felt that I was a talent that she wanted to have again in her group. And that was one of the reasons that I was able to actually go abroad and have an amazing job
Mm-hmm.
managing the Oreo brand in China and Asia Pacific, including India. So it's again, it goes back to, are you keeping in touch and building relationships with people who are really going to help your career, but in an authentic way? It cannot be perceived in any other way. So stepping back and spending the time to build relationships is really key about being strategic for
Yeah.
growing.
Yeah. And Manpreet brings a very important point that you need to tell contributor what is in it for me. Tell them upfront benefits that will accrue to them, which is so good because whenever somebody mentors or coach or help
Yes.
you as a stakeholder, it's really something is for them also. People like doing it, actually speaking, you know. So, but having said that, Jenny, I mean, your
Yes.
story is very interesting. But still, some people like me who hesitate to reach out to people, and I have done that, in my corporate experience, reach out to people and showcase that this is what I have done, showcasing my achievements, asking for help. These are the things, I was not good at one point of time. So what advice would you have for these people who feel that, what Jenny is saying is right? I need to have
Yes.
strategic correction. I need to be strategic about my goals, my strategy. But when reaching out to people, I hesitate. So what advice would you have for people like us?
Yeah, no, thank you. I was like that myself as well. And, I have to challenge myself because it's not, I don't see myself as quote unquote a promoter. So,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, I would say change the way you define, kind of reaching out to people. It's not about promoting yourself or being inauthentic. Think about it and think about, if I am able to elevate myself, if I'm able to, have a big network, how much more help can I give others? If you're the
Mm-hmm.
kind of person that is driven by, other things, not promoting yourself, but the impact that you have in your company, with your family, with your friends and network, think about, again, ultimately elevating myself, like, like they say in flights, put your oxygen mask on before you help others. Building your own network, building your success, building, your brand is going to enable you to be more successful in the impact that you can have in your career. So think, and also I would say, think about speaking out and reaching to others as taking control of the narrative of your brand. If you're not speaking about yourself, somebody else is speaking about you, whether it's good or bad, or even worse, nobody's speaking about you. And that means you're not part of the conversation when opportunities come along. So,
Mm-hmm.
really taking control of that narrative is key. And I would say, Manbir, especially in this data and age when social media, and frankly, digital marketing has made information so accessible, there's like a paper trail of people in the internet. So if you can Google yourself and ask yourself, what is the digital resume, what is the digital footprint I want to leave in the internet, then you have to
Mm-hmm.
take control of that. How do you build that information so that people say, okay, when I Google Jenny Fernandez, I see leadership, I see strategy, I see marketing. Then you have to then work to make sure that that digital footprint is created.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so very important. Taking control of your story, taking control of your brand. You said your brand, which is
Yes.
very important. And I loved what you said. If you are not talking about it, either somebody else is talking about it and you don't know about it, or nobody is talking about it, actually speaking. Then you are not in queue. You are not in that pipeline, or you're not in the eye of those promoters, right? So yes. Thank you
Yeah.
for that very beautiful answer. And other thing, I guess, very important is to ask yourself, what is the impact you are creating on your brand today? What is the impact you are creating on your team's brand today?
Yes.
What is the impact you are creating on your organization's brand today? So I guess these are three very important questions when we talk about, reaching out to people, not promoting as such, but talking about it, right, Jenny? What do you think?
Oh, completely. I think that's, really, really like how you said it. And I was even writing, because basically, to your point, Manbir, you have to ask yourself, first of all, thinking about you, what am I learning today? The world keeps evolving. I mean, with, the internet, the pandemic, and what's coming in the future is going to
Yeah.
continue to change.
Yes.
So many of us have already completed all of the academic milestones that society, life, family put in front of us, whether we went to college or business school. Many people have PhDs even.
Yeah.
So are we stopped learning? No. Now you have to actually take control and say, what am I learning today? How am I
Yeah.
investing in my
Yeah.
career? Even if you have to put money down, whether it's as simple as a online course, LinkedIn Learning, or
Mm-hmm.
you take external courses at your local university. But how are you
Mm-hmm.
investing in your career today to get yourself to be more relevant and more
Mm-hmm.
valuable? And to
Yeah.
your point, you can ask that question about yourself in relation to your job and your company. Like, are my goals, my job, building on the initiatives that the company really cares about?
Yes.
And
Yes.
if you're able to match those two, like, if it's a public company, what are they talking about to the analyst? What are their
Mm-hmm.
goals that they're reporting? And are my
Mm-hmm.
job, my projects in, supporting that? Because then that
Yeah.
means you're more relevant. So you have to
Yeah.
always think about from those two perspectives.
Yeah. Yeah. Think macro, not only micro, right? It's
Yes.
macro thinking. That's how you are impacting on many things in your life and in organization's life. So, Jenny, till now, whatever we talk about strategy, goal, taking control, being authentic, having an evolving journey, whenever we talk about growing to leadership positions, it's also very important component is influencing others.
Yes.
So, how does having a growth mindset help me in influencing others?
Really, really great question. I think, again, influencing is one of those top skills that you need, especially as you start growing your career. If you once you're
Mm-hmm.
shifting as to manager to leader, because it's
Yeah.
this idea that you get to do not only by your own skills, but by inspiring others to follow your lead.
Yeah.
And you're able to influence up your boss, senior leaders, peers who are like you, same position, and also of course people who report to you. But basically, as I see influence, and I don't know if your audience has read the book Influence by Robert Cialdini, but he's basically kind of the father of influence. An amazing book, and he talks about it as one of the six weapons of relationships and leadership, because again it helps you do so much more because you have the ability to get others to do for you. So when trying to build your influence, I believe that again it's about going back to the relationships and building trust. You have to be able to, whether it's in your current job or in a new role or a new company, you have to be able to establish trust and establish a reputation about yourself as somebody who is, of course, reliable, a doer who can get things done, who is strategic and thinking about the future, and somebody who can learn. I think it goes back again to the idea that the growth mindset is really a learned skill. You have the ability to make yourself smarter, better, more productive if you have, the drive and then the strategy to learn what is needed, for
Yeah.
that role.
Yeah. And feedback is also a very important part of all the circle what we are talking about here, this journey we are talking about, right? Because until
Oh,
unless
yeah.
you have the feedback frequently from right stakeholders, you won't know what needs to change.
Oh, very. Thank you for saying that, Manvir. Feedback is so key.
Absolutely.
We of course know ourselves best, so you always have to rely on you. But getting external feedback helps remove, the feelings, the over expectations that we sometimes put, and the sometimes disappointment if we don't get the recognition. And that feedback helps you identify, again, what is the reputation that I have? What is the brand that people think about when they think of me? And
Mm-hmm.
it increases your self-awareness. And with those 2 points, your own knowledge and that external feedback, then you have the ability to really put together a strategic plan for improving, for moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have, I want to step back for 1 second and say that this is very important for women, because many times women do not get the detailed critical feedback that we need. We may be advised that we're either doing a good job or we need improvement, but the rich details that we need to get are really important, because then we can put together a detailed plan to
Yeah.
improve and get there. And sometimes people don't want to hurt our feelings, but again, develop relationships with stakeholders who can be honest with you. The people who are brutally honest with you can tell you what is it that you need to do to be better, to improve. And at the end of the day, you have to step back and say, okay, that may have hurt, to hear that feedback, but now I
Hmm.
know what I need to fix.
Yeah. 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 And we have a question, Jenny, that how to take feedback if manager or people around us, all the stakeholders, do not have time, always busy.
If they do not have time to give
Yeah,
feedback.
to provide feedback, and that's a real situation, right? Many times it
Yeah.
happens. People do the formality of feedback and they're not actually having that brutal, honest conversation.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I mean, oh my God, time. It could be that they're not comfortable giving that feedback.
Yeah.
So I would say again, identify, besides your manager, identify 3 to 5 people who you may work with. And frankly, remember, it could be people who report to you, peers, or other senior leaders who again are going to make the time. So these are people that build relationship with you and are able to again be invested in your success, so they will make the time. Just make sure again you have at least 3 to 5 people in your own board of directors who are able to give you feedback, and who you can ask, maybe do it once every 3 or 6 months. Give them enough time so that you're not being asking for feedback every week. Nobody has the time to do that. And quoting Marshall Goldsmith, maybe reframe how that feedback is asked.
Mm.
Not, maybe don't say, what did I do right or wrong, thinking about the past, but ask a suggestion. What do you suggest I do in the future when I face a similar opportunity? So that people see it as, okay, I'm not telling them that they are good or bad. I am suggesting something, how they can be better. Oh, I see Dr. Marlena
Yeah.
Corcoran. Hi, Marlena. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your kind comments also,
Fantastic.
Madlena. Yeah, thank you so much. So, Jenny, as we are moving towards the end of our show, so to wrap up, do you have any last suggestions or any last tips, at the last of the show you want to share with my viewers, that what do they do, what else they can do to have growth mindset and use that growth mindset, leverage that growth mindset to grow in their organization?
Yeah, no, fantastic. Thank you, Mamir. So just to summarize again, I think is, again, know that a growth mindset is a learned skill. You can apply yourself, you can be strategic and spend the time, and you will improve, you will learn, you will be a better version of yourself. And
Yeah.
remember that you're not alone. You're not in this alone. You can surround yourself with the right network, whether it's a network of friends, peers, management and bosses, or a network that you buy into, whether you get a coach, you join a networking group. These are things that can help you because you're surrounding yourself with people who are in a similar journey as you. And being part of a tribe, of a community, it's really important in keeping you encouraged, in keeping you moving forward. And always, I would say, as we mentioned earlier, look to learn more by challenging yourself and by also creating new milestones for learning, whether it's going back to school, whether it's reading a book. And one book that I want to plug in is our dear friend Dory Clark, which is somebody who's extremely strategic, and she
Yeah.
has a new book called The Long Game. And when thinking about growth mindset, it is truly a long game. It is, how are you
Absolutely.
investing in yourself so that you can
Yeah.
be better, relevant, and you can be the better version of yourself for the challenges that are coming and that are ahead of us.
Yeah, and I also got an opportunity to read advanced copy of Long Game, and it's a fantastic book. I think you brought it at the right time, actually, Jenny. So I think it's a fantastic group, a fantastic book. Everyone should have it for the long game and for the strategy growth mindset also. Thank you, and you summarized it so well, Jenny. Thank you so much for this awesome, great insight. I really appreciate your time and value you have created for my audience today.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Thanks, everyone. Feel free to connect with me in LinkedIn or send me any
Yes.
questions.
And I will add those your LinkedIn link and the book you mentioned in the show notes. Thank you,
Wonderful.
everyone. Thank you so much for joining us
Thank you,
live. And
everyone.
if you're watching this as a recording, thanks to you too. Hope you have got value out of this and you will implement these learnings for sure. See you all again in the next episode of Growth Mindset Conversations. Thank you and all the very best. Thank you, Jenny. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.